May 26, 1999. A small Minnesota town. Quiet gas station along the highway. Just after midnight, the clerk on duty, 19-year-old Katie Poirier, vanished. Her car, her keys, and her belongings were still there, the register untouched, but Katie was gone. What unfolded next became one of Minnesota's most haunting and unforgettable criminal cases. Katie Poirier was born on February 28, 1980, in Minnesota. Her family soon settled in the town of Barnum, where she grew up. After high school, Katie moved with her longtime boyfriend Mark to the nearby town of Moose Lake. They rented an apartment, talked about their future, and eventually Mark proposed. At just 19, Katie was engaged in studying criminal justice at a local college. She dreamed of becoming either a police officer or a wildlife protection officer. To help support herself, she took a temporary job at a gas station convenience store, just a few hundred meters from her home. The night shifts allowed her to balance school and work. But Katie's mother worried. Working alone, at night, off a major highway seemed dangerous. Travelers, not locals, made up most of the traffic. Katie reassured her there was a busy restaurant next door, so it didn't feel deserted. The night of May 26, 1999, that evening, Katie started her shift as usual. Around midnight, a woman walked in to pay for gas. But no one was behind the counter. The lights were on, the doors open, yet the store was empty. After waiting and still seeing no one, she called the police. Officers arrived quickly. Nothing looked disturbed, not even the cash register. But behind the counter, they found keys and sunglasses, items belonging to Katie. Outside, her car sat untouched. It was clear Katie hadn't left voluntarily. Detectives reviewed the stores for security cameras. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Katie served customers, checked the shelves. But at 11:32 p.m., the footage changed. Katie walked into the back room. A man entered the store. He browsed for a while. When Katie returned, they spoke briefly, and the man left. Just 10 seconds later, he returned, this time heading straight for the back room. Seconds later, Katie appeared again, with the man gripping her neck, her hands seemingly tied. At 11:38 p.m., he forced her out of the store. The abduction had happened on camera, but there was a problem. The footage was so grainy, the suspect's face was unrecognizable, and no cameras captured the parking lot. Investigators had no idea what car he was driving or where he took Katie. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search. Police canvassed forests, rivers, and lakes. Katie's friend, who worked at the nearby restaurant, reported seeing a strange man loitering that night. He was intoxicated, made unwelcome advances to women, and asked repeatedly about whether staff would be returning after closing. She remembered his vehicle, a black Ford F-150 pickup truck, its plate number starting with 557 and ending with the letter Y. It was the first real lead. But in 1999, Minnesota police had no statewide database to quickly trace plates. They sent out alerts instead. Complicating matters further, just a few hundred meters from the gas station was a rehabilitation center for convicted sex offenders. Dozens of men were housed there, but records showed none had left that night. With so many dead ends, investigators tried something bold. They asked NASA to enhance the security footage. Using tools normally reserved for space imaging, NASA clarified the video enough to reveal key details. White male around 25 years old, 5 feet 10. Medium build, long, light-colored hair, wearing a New York Yankees jersey, number 23. A sketch was created and broadcast nationwide. Within days, thousands of tips poured in. Most tips led nowhere until a man called police about his coworker, a janitor at a Minneapolis veterans home, Donald Hutchinson. He had suddenly quit his job after Katie's disappearance, cut his hair, shaved his beard, and stopped driving his Ford truck. Colleagues remembered him wearing a Yankees jersey with the number 23. Police dug deeper. Hutchinson was an alias, his real name, Donald Albin Blom, a 50-year-old with a violent criminal past, including multiple kidnappings and sexual assaults. He lived with his wife and 4 children in Minneapolis and owned a farm just 19 kilometers from Katie's workplace. Investigators searched his home. Blom appeared calm and cooperative. First, nothing surfaced, until officers opened his garage. Inside was a black Ford F-150, the exact truck witnesses had described. He had lied about selling it. But this wasn't enough to arrest him. Detectives turned to his farm. Hundreds of officers, volunteers, and National Guard members scoured the property. On the second day, they uncovered the remnants of a massive bonfire. Inside the ashes, they discovered bone fragments and a human tooth. Tests confirmed some remains were human, and from a young woman aged 17 to 24. The tooth matched Katie's dental records, including a rare filling made of zirconium and silicon installed just 2 weeks before her disappearance. It wasn't absolute proof, but it was damning. Blom was arrested less than a month after Katie vanished. In custody, Blom initially denied involvement. Then, unexpectedly, he confessed. Calmly, without remorse, he told police he had kidnapped Katie after drinking heavily, taken her to his farm, strangled her, and burned her remains. Weeks later, he retracted his confession, claiming innocence. At trial, prosecutors presented the circumstantial evidence: the car, the jersey, the farm remains, and testimony from co-workers and past victims. Blom's wife testified he had been home with her that night, but later admitted she lied, terrified of his abuse. Witnesses described him as dangerous and predatory. His own brother confirmed Blom had owned the Yankees jersey. Despite his aggressive outbursts in court, the evidence held. The jury found him guilty. Blom was sentenced to life without parole, plus an additional 19 years for illegal gun possession. Even in prison, suspicions lingered. Detectives believed Blom was connected to other unsolved murders dating back to the 1970s. He hinted at confessions, then refused to give details, seemingly playing games to gain prison transfers. Outrage from Katie's family eventually forced him back into maximum security, where he remained until his death in January 2023, at the age of 73. Katie's parents, devastated but determined, pushed for change. Their advocacy led to stricter sex crime laws in Minnesota and new workplace safety rules, requiring at least 2 employees per night shift at gas stations. The murder of Katie Poirier remains one of the most haunting crimes in Minnesota's history. A young woman with her whole life ahead of her taken in a matter of minutes. Her story is a chilling reminder of the dangers that can lurk in the ordinary, the importance of vigilance, and how persistence, technology, and community can bring even the darkest cases to light. Katie's life was cut short, but her legacy continues through the laws that protect workers and the awareness that keeps others safe.